Manchester United have lost again. That was sung right after Man City defeated them by 3-0. 3 days later, they ended up losing 3-0 to Newcastle in the Carabao Cup. Although things seem to have been getting a lot better when they defeated Fulham by 1-0. On Wednesday, they lost to Copenhagen by 4-3 in a match where they were already 2 goals up, courtesy of Rasmus Haaland, who is now joint top scorer in the Champions League. After Marcus Rashford made this challenge, he ended up getting red carded and United capitulated. It was 2-2 by halftime. And then, although they went ahead again by Bruno Fernandes penalty, United ended up losing the match by 4-3. In a wonderful comeback, now United sits at the bottom of the Champions League table. And we're not sure if they can still make it to be able to qualify. They need to defeat Bayern Munich and Galatasaray away from home. What do you think? Is United going to make Europa? Are they going to make it through to the knockout stages? Let me know below. Mikel Arteta has a few words for this performance.
It is embarrassing what happened. Disgrace. You look it on the TV, it's an absolute disgrace.
Welcome to Footy Weekly. I'm Banky and I walk you through everything that's happened in the world of football this past week. Like, share, and subscribe. Someone would also enjoy this as well. Let's get into it. That was actually Arteta addressing the Premier League officials after they felt robbed as Arsenal lost their unbeaten record in their 1-0 defeat to Newcastle. It was a very interesting VAR call, and Arsenal made out a statement addressing this, that the officiating was very, very bad and it was an absolute disgrace. It seems everybody is feeling robbed by VAR. Newcastle, on the other hand, even though they did win that match, they've suffered a lot of injuries lately, apart from Sandro Tonali being banned till next year. Murphy, Javi Barnes, Elliot Anderson, Sven Botman, Bruno Guimaraes, Dan Burn, Isak, Wilson, and Target, among others, are on their injury list at the moment, and their squad is quite thin at the moment. Now, on to the craziest match this past week. It was Chelsea versus Tottenham Hotspur in a match that had everything. I mean, everything. Starting from an early goal by Spurs, Kulusevski scored, then Son scored, which was disallowed, then Caicedo scored, which was disallowed, then Sterling scored, which was also disallowed, and then called back. This was in between Romero making a crazy tackle. It was then called back for a red card. Romero got sent off. Cole Palmer took the penalty, scored it, and then it only got crazier by halftime as Van de Ven had a hamstring injury and had to leave, and then Maddison also got injured and had to get subbed off too as well. The second half started, Udogie got sent off, then Chelsea finally scored with Nicholas Jackson. By this time, Spurs was playing with a very crazy high line, even with 9 men, and then at the end of the match, Jackson had scored 2 goals in the last minutes. But before then, Dyer had scored 1 goal that got disallowed. But at the end of the game, Chelsea ended up taking up all the spoils with Jackson scoring a hat-trick. The match really did have everything, and it was a very fantastic match for the neutrals. Tough on Spurs, but that's what we watch football for. In another crazy match, Manchester City dismantled Bournemouth by 6-1 in a very interesting game, because in that match, Haaland had picked up an injury. Alvarez did not contribute in any of the goals. And from nowhere, Jeremy Doku stole the entire show by scoring 1 and assisting 4 of the other goals in that match. Absolutely phenomenal game week for him. For people that played fantasy football, it was unbelievable, because all the big players didn't perform. But even after Haaland's injury, he played in midweek against Young Boys and scored 2 goals. And he even did Didier Drogba's celebration after he had picked up the best striker award, and Drogba had told him to do that celebration. It was really impressive and really lovely to see. Elsewhere in Premiership, we realized that Luton at home can be formidable, as they rarely give up goals. They had gone ahead and almost won Liverpool, only for Luis Diaz to actually score a late equalizer, showing some respect to his father, who was eventually released as we know it on Wednesday. In a more interesting news, Anthony Taylor had been demoted to championship and people thought, oh, finally this was going to be permanent. He also made an error in his championship match, but he's going to be the one officiating Chelsea versus Manchester City this weekend. Much to much fans' uproar. There's nothing we can do about it. Now, off in Spain, Barcelona defeated Real Sociedad by 1-0 with a last-minute goal by Ronald Araujo. And this brought them 1 point behind Real Madrid and 4 points off surprising league leaders Girona. But their joy was not to be for long, as in Champions League match they ended up losing 1-0 versus Shakhtar Donetsk. Meanwhile, their Clásico rivals Real Madrid drew 0-0 to Rayo Vallecano, and in Champions League match versus Barca, Kepa had gotten injured, but it gave a chance for Lunin to actually start and make a penalty save in a match where they won 3-0, and which was a quite significant match for Vinicius Jr. after he had won the Socrates Award. He now has 17 goals and 17 assists in all competition. Starboy Jude Bellingham, who won the Copa Trophy as well during the Ballon d'Or ceremony, did not get to play with a minor injury, but it also means that Real Madrid has now officially qualified for the Champions League knockout stages, along with Manchester City, Bayern Munich, Inter Milan, RB Leipzig, and Real Sociedad. More news in Champions League meant AC Milan defeated Paris Saint-Germain by 2-1, with Giroud scoring the winning goal. Atletico Madrid dismantled Celtic by 6-0 in the match where Morata scored twice, which also made him joint top scorer in the Champions League, and Griezmann also scored twice as well. Griezmann has been on form this year and has been very impressive. Another player that's also in serious form right now is Harry Kane. That man can't stop scoring. He keeps scoring goals for fun. He's now scored 22 goals in 18 appearances for Bayern Munich this season, and he scored 2 on Wednesday night as they defeated Galatasaray by 2-1, and also scored a hat-trick in the Klassiker against Borussia Dortmund. What a season Harry Kane is having. He's going to be start partying Bundesliga and the Champions League like mad. And that's going to be all for this week. Like, share, subscribe, and follow me for more football and FPL content. Thanks.